We talk about how love goes on. The leaves has begun to change color, turning the ride through West Newton into a portrait of gold and verse. Back in Detroit, the labor war had stagnated, with each side accusing the other of failing to communicate. The stories on the TV news were just as depressing. In rural Kentucky, three men threw pieces of tombstone off the bridge, smashing the windshield of a passing car, killing a teenage girl who was traveling with her family into a religious pilgrimage. In California, the O.J. Simpson trial was heading toward a conclusion, and the whole country seemed to be upset. Even in the airports, there were hanging TV sets tuned to CNN so that you could get an OJ update as you made your way to a gate. I had tried calling my brother in Spain several times. I left messages saying that I really wanted to talk to him, that I had been doing a lot of thinking about us. A few weeks later, I got back a short message saying everything was okay, but he was sorry he really didn't feel like talking about being sick. For my old professor, it was not a talk of being sick, but the being sick itself that was sinking him. Since my last visit, a nurse has inserted a catheter into his penis, which drew a urine the urine out through a tube and into a bag that sat on the foot of his chair. His leg needed constant tending. He could still feel pain even though he could not move them. Another one of ALS' cruel little ironies. And unless his feet dangled just the right number in inches off the foam pads, it felt as if someone were poking him with a fork. In the middle of conversations, Morrie would have to ask his visitors to lift his foot and move it just an inch, or to adjust his hat so that it fit more easily into the palm of the colored pillows. Can you imagine being unable to move your own head? With each visit, Morrie seemed to be melting into his chair, his smile taking on its shape. Still, every morning, he insisted on being lifted from his bed and rode to his study, deposited there among his books and papers and the hibiscus plant on the windowsill. In typical fashion, he found something philosophical philosophical in this. I sum it up in my newest aphorism, he said. Let me hear it. When you're in bed, you're dead. He smiled. Only Morrie could smile at something like that. He had been getting calls from the nightlife people and from Ted Koppel himself. They want to come and do another show with me, he said. But they say they want to wait. Until what? You're on your last breath? Maybe. Anyhow, I'm not so far away. Don't say that. I'm sorry. That bugs me. That they want to wait until you wither. It bugs you because you look out for me. He smiled. Mitch, maybe they're using me for a little drama. It's okay. Maybe I'm using them too. They help me to get my message to millions of people. I couldn't do that without them, right? So it's a compromise. He coughed, which turned into a long, drawn-out gaggle, ending with another glob into a crushed tissue. Anyhow, Morrie said, I told them they better not wait too long because my voice won't be there. Once this thing hits my lungs, talking may become impossible. I can't speak for too long without needing a rest now. I've already canceled a lot of people who want to see me. Mitch, there are so many, but I'm so fatigued. If I can't give them the right attention, I can't help them. I looked at the tape recorder, feeling guilty, as if I was stealing what was left of his precious speaking time. Should we skip it? I asked. Will it make you too tired? Morrie shut his eyes and shook his head. He seemed to be waiting for some sullen pain to pass. No, he finally said, you and I have to go on. This is our last thesis together, you know, our last thesis. We want to get it right. I thought about his first thesis together in college. It was Morrie's idea. Morrie's idea. Of course, he told me I was good enough to write an honors project, sometime I had never considered. Now here we were, doing the same thing once more, starting with an idea. Dying man, dying man talks to a living man, tells him that he should know. This time I was in less of a hurry to finish. Someone asked me an interesting question yesterday. Morrie said now, looking over my shoulder at the wall hanging behind me, a quilt of hopeful messages that friends had stitched for him on the 70th birthday. Each patch on the quilt had a different message. Stay the course. The best is not to be. Morrie, always know. Always number one in mental health. That what was the question I asked? If I worried about being forgotten after I die? Well, do you? I don't think I will be. I've got so many people who have been involved with me in close, intimate ways and love it, how you stay alive even after you are gone. Sounds like a song lyric. Love is how you stay alive. Morrie chuckled, maybe, but Mitch, all this talk we were doing, do you ever hear my voice sometimes when you're back home? When you're all alone, maybe on the plane or maybe in the car? Yes, I admitted. Then you will not forget me after I'm gone. Think of my voice and I will be there. Think of my voice. And if you want to cry a little, it's okay. Morrie, he had wanted to make me cry since I was a freshman. One of these days I'm going to get to you, he would say. Yeah, a good answer. I decided what I wanted on my tombstone, he said. I don't want to hear about tombstones. Why? They make you nervous? He, I, struck, I struck, I struck, I shrug, I shrug. We can't forget it. No, go ahead. What did you decide? Morrie popped his lips. I was thinking of this. A teacher to the last. He waited while I observed it. A teacher to the last. Good, good, he said. Yes, I say, very good. I came to love the way Morrie lit up when I entered the room. He did this for many people I know, but it was his special talent to make each visitor feel that the smile was unique. Ah, it's my buddy, he would say when he saw me in that foggy, high-pitched voice. And it didn't stop with the greeting. When Morrie was with you, he was really with you. He looked you straight in the eye, and he listened as if you were the only person in the world. How much better would people get along if their first encounter each day was like this, instead of a grumble from a waitress or a bus driver or a boss? I believe in being fully present, Morrie said. That means you should be with you, the person who you are with. When I'm talking to you now, Mitch, I try to keep focus on what is going on between us. I'm thinking about something we said last week. I'm not thinking of what's coming up this Friday. I'm not thinking about doing another couple show and about what medications I'm taking. I'm talking to you and I'm thinking about you. I remember how he used to teach this idea to in the group process class back in brand day. I had scoffed back then, thinking it was hardly a lesson for university course. Learning to pay attention? How important could that be? I now know it is more important than almost everything they taught us in college. Morrie motioned for my hand, and as I gave it to him, I felt a surge of guilt. Here was a man who, if he wanted, could spend every waking moment in self-pity, feeling his body for decay, counting his breaths. So many people with far smaller problems are so self-absorbed. Their eyes gaze over if you speak more than 30 seconds. They already have something else in mind, a friend to call, a fax to send, a lover they're dreaming about. They only snap back to full attention when you finish talking. At which point they say, uh-huh, oh yeah, really, and fake their way back to the moment. Part of the problem, Mitch, is that everyone in this such a hurry. Morrie say people haven't found meaning in their lives, so they're running all the time looking for it. They think the next car, the next house, and the next job, and they find those things are empty too, and they keep running. Once you start running, I said it's hard to slow yourself down. Not so hard, he say, shaking his head. Do you know what I do when someone wants to get ahead of me in traffic? I used to when I used to able to drive, I would raise my hand. He tried to do this now, but the hand lifted weakly, only 6 inches. I would raise my hand as if I was going to make a negative gesture, and then I would wave and smile instead of giving them a finger. Then you let them go and you smile. You know what? A lot of times they smile back. The truth is, I don't have to be in that much of a hurry with the car. They could rather put my energies into people. He did this better than anyone I ever know. Those who sat with him saw his eyes go moist when they spoke about something horrible and the crinkle in delight when they told him a really bad joke. He was really ready to openly display the emotion so often missing from my baby boomer generation. We are great at small talk. What do you do? Where do you live? But really listen to someone without trying to sell them something, pick them up, recruit them, or get some kind of status in return. How often do you get this anymore? I believe many visitors in the last few months of Morrie's life were drawn not because of the attention they want to pay to him, but because of attention he paid to them. Despite his personal pain and decay, this little old man listened the way they always wanted someone to listen. I told him he was the father everyone wishes they had. Well, he said, closing his eyes, I have some experience in that area. The last moment Morrie saw his old father was in a city mortgage. Morgue. Charlie Squat was a squat man who liked to read his newspaper alone under the street lamp on the Tremont Avenue in the Bronx. Every night when Morrie was little, Charlie would go for a walk after dinner. He was so a small Russian man with a ruddy complexion and a full of head of grayish hair. Morrie and his father, David, would look out the window and see him leaning against the lamppost, and Morrie wished he could come inside and talk to them, but he rarely did. Nor did he tuck them in or kiss them good night. Morrie always swore he would do this thing for his own children if he had if if he ever had any, and years later than he had them he did. Meanwhile, as Morrie raised his own children, Charlie was still living in the Bronx. He still took that walk. He still read the paper. One night he went outside after dinner a few blocks from home. He was escorted by two robbers. Give us your money, one said, pulling a gun. Frightened, Charlie threw down his gullet and began to run. He ran through the streets and kept running until he reached the steps of relatives' house, and he collapsed on the porch. Heart attack. He died that night. Morrie was called to identify the body. He flew to New York and went to the morgue. He was taken downstairs to the cold room where the corpses were kept. "It is your father?" the attendant asked. Morrie looked at the body behind the glass. The body of the man who had scolded him and mocked him and taught him to work, who had been quiet when Morrie wanted him to speak, who had told Morrie to swallow his memories of his mother when he wanted to share them with the world. He nodded and he walked away. The horror of the room, he would later say, sucked all the other functions out of him. He did not cry until days later. Still, his father's death helped prepare Morrie for his own. This much he knew. There would be lots of holding and kissing and talking and laughing, and no goodbyes left unsaid. All the things he missed with his father and his mother. When the final moment came, Morrie wanted his loved ones around him, knowing what was happening. No one would get a phone call or a telegram or have a look through a glass window in some cold and foreign basement. And that is Tuesday with Morrie.